Now we're in Northern California. It's a road course. At Sears Point, we're ready for round 3. The Corvette Challenge continues exclusively on ESPN. The peace and tranquility of this beautiful Napa Valley is about to be broken by Chevy Thunder. I'm Jim Paulson, back with John Powell, and we are in the beautiful wine country of California, John.
Not far from San Francisco here, set in the side of a hill. Sears Point is an extremely challenging race circuit. Lots of turns, 11 of them. It has uphills, downhills, decreasing radius turns. Boy, the driver really gets some work out here.
You bet. And already, John, we've had a lot of excitement in the first 2 rounds this year.
Boy, Phoenix, Willie Lewis was the winner. At Dallas, Shawn Hendricks led from flag to flag, but what a battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth, and even Stu HAYNER got aerobatic on us.
Well, Stu HAYNER is fine. He survived that horrendous incident, but is the car ready to return?
We've got a new car here. The other one we did get fixed. We've got it so it rolls. I tested it on Monday, and it's going to roll again. I mean, we're going to have it back, but we just felt that the car wasn't going to be quite good enough to come back here to Sears, and we didn't want to have any problems on that, something that we overlooked maybe on that. So we're going to go with this new car for this race and through Detroit, and then spend some time going through the car and testing it before we move on to the next race.
Well, this is the round where the Corvette Challenge competitors meet the NASCAR crowd, really the grassroots of racing in America, I guess, John.
Jim, think of the names that are here this weekend. Darrell Waltrip, Iron Man Dale Earnhardt, Bill Elliott. These are American heroes, and NASCAR racing is arguably the finest racing you can get anywhere. And we have a Corvette Challenge competitor, Bill Cooper, who is racing in both the Corvette Challenge and the Winston Cup.
Yesterday I did have a problem. My mind was totally into what we were doing in the NASCAR and psyched up for qualifying in that. And I wasn't driving the Corvette as well yesterday, so I made sure today that I refocused my thoughts and had a few moments to myself to really make sure before qualifying that I was tuned into the Corvette.
The grid is set on the front row out of St. Augustine, Florida. Scott Legacy, beside him the Canadian champion Peter Lockhart.
In row 2, a genuine nice man on the left of your screen, Bill Cooper. Beside him, Andy Pilgrim.
The 2 fastest are on the 3rd row. They are Boris Said III. Our fast man is back, Bobby Carradine in '89.
Jim, driving the pace car is that famous name, Bob Bondurant. With him, inside that car, are 2 Make-A-Wish kids. You know, these are terminally ill kids that get a chance to make a wish, and their wish is to lead the pack of Corvette Challenge cars. And what a fine sight it is today at Sears Point.
This Speed World exclusive is brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet, and Exxon. Precision products for precision engines. Bondurant takes the pace car off. This Corvette Challenge is set to fly at Sears Point. John, here they come.
Lockhart and Legacy side by side. Now Lockhart is on the outside. Legacy grabs the lead. And what a traffic jam behind him. There are cars 3 and 4 abreast. Even at the end, there's John Greenwood, 28, passes Doug Clark at the front. Whoa, look at this.
Lockhart kicks up from dust, gets a wheel off. In fact,
Andy Evans, 44, off the track and back on again, but Legacy's in the lead, and behind him, Lockhart pressing very hard. And then we have Cooper, Pilgrim, Carradine already up, and Tommy Kendall back in 9th. He's already lost a position. Here we are inside. He's following Tony Piercosta as they go down into 4. Piercosta goes inside Shawn Hendricks, takes it away. Kendall closes up. Uh-oh!
No, he's got a stray. In fact, two of them, I think Boris said went off there as well, John.
Where Kendall has driven by them now as they go up the hill and down into the carousel. This inside car action is very exciting.
So right off the top, Tommy Kendall has gained a notch. He's now running in 8th, and I'll tell you, Tony's been putting in a great race. He had a great show last time. He's giving it a charge again, John.
Pia Costa went from 22nd to 6th at Dallas, but here are the leaders again. Lockhart looking very strong. Cooper bobbles a little bit. 5 of them all together, and Legacy leads this incredible Corvette sandwich.
It's an amazing charge, John, and I'll tell you, this field's still very tight as they come around and try to put down lap number 1. And Legacy, a little twitchy there, but he's got a fairly commanding lead. Here's Peter's view.
We put you behind the wheel. Look at, they're going 100 miles an hour down these long sweepers. You see Legacy braking, and Lockhart's all over him, trying to get position as they go down to the hairpin. Look, Jim, going down the inside here.
He's got to move. He's going to try to take him on the right-hand side, John. I think he'll gain advantage. Tightest part of the course right here. Can Peter take him?
Peter Lockhart is our new leader. It looks like he's put it away in that Sony-sponsored car.
Look at this, John Cooper.
All over the front of that car. And Bill Cooper, like you say, Jim, he's got right by him. So Legacy is now 3rd, and Andy Pilgrim in the blue and white car, number 18, right behind Legacy.
And you know, you can't ignore Bobby Carradine. He's running 5th. He's a few car lengths back, John, but he's keeping a close eye on these 4 front runners. And here's the view back from Pilgrim's car.
Boy, Pilgrim is kicking up dust here. Carradine is going to try and profit from Pilgrim's mistakes, because every time you drop a wheel off, you slow down. He closes right up on Pilgrim there. Carradine trying to find a way through.
Now you got more fire right behind Carradine here with Boris Said, of course, keeping a close eye on Bobby. That's a beautiful dice. Oh, Pilgrim kicks up a little bit of dust.
Scott Legacy has fallen to 3rd already. We talked to him earlier.
I tell you, it's an hour-long race, and it's tough to judge the conditions right now with the Winston Cup cars running here this weekend. So we'll just set a steady pace, and if a couple people get by, that's fine, and we'll try to stay up in the top 3 or 4 toward, say, 3/4 of the way of the race, and we'll try to work back up there. But I'd hope to lead the race for a while anyway, and maybe we'll just run away with it. Who knows?
What kind of wishful thinking from Scott's point of view at this stage in the race? He's had mixed fortunes off the top, John.
That's right. Lockhart looks extremely strong, leading the way around, and there's Andy Pilgrim off again. Boy, and Bobby right beside him and around, I think, and Boris Said catching up to Andy Pilgrim. These in-car shots really give you the picture here.
Oh, Bobby did not get by. In fact, Andy is holding him off beautifully, and now Boris is going to attack him from the other side here, John.
Pilgrim, watch out. You got to stay on the racetrack to win this.
Well, I get the feeling that Andy is even overshooting some of these corners here, doing everything he can desperately here to hold off Bobby Carradine, who finished so well here last year, John.
Bobby Carradine is an accomplished race driver, one of the best I've ever seen, and he is really climbing all over Andy Pilgrim as Lockhart continues to walk away.
He has got him on the inside, John, no question. Now Boris Said will have a shot at Andy on the inside. Will he be successful? Oh, he's off.
Side by side. They're inside, they're outside. Boris does not succeed.
Well, the number 10 car, Boris Said, got a little astray there. He'll take maybe a lap or two to kind of reorganize his thoughts, John, for another attack.
This is the battle for 4th position, don't forget. Bobby Carradine in the red car, followed by the blue and white car, Andy Pilgrim. The flame car is Boris Said, and behind him, Sean Hendricks in the number 7 red car. And they're going down, right down into the hairpin, and watch the move. Lockhart, of course, is leading, and Said is going inside Pilgrim.
Okay, Boris makes his dive on the inside, a little off the track.
And Boris puts it away. We talked to Boris earlier about his car and its setup.
My car's handling real well, and Mark Chevrolet and Billy Powell set it up pretty good, so I think we'll be right there. It's a long race, so hopefully everybody will just feel their way out in the beginning, but I think it's going to be pretty fast-paced, and I think everyone up in the front is going to go for the win.
Young Boris Said is a charming young man. He says he's going to feel his way out. These guys in Corvettes feel them out by tapping, and this Pilgrim beside Boris Said.
You know, we can't ignore number 7 here. Sean Hendricks is really a part of this fray as well, John, and that's a beautiful fight. And look at this. Pilgrim almost the meat in the sandwich.
There's trouble with that sandwich. Oh, Andy Pilgrim right onto the guardrail, hung right up. They've left him behind.
Right into the tire wall, Andy Pilgrim goes. What a terrible luck.
Let's look at the replay here from behind. Now, Andy Pilgrim is being followed very closely by Hendricks, who's trying to get by him.
Stu HAYNER coming on as well.
They're through the corner. There's something happens. There's the bump. And away he goes. I think Andy was powerless to do anything about that, Jim.
Let's have another view here, John. Look at it from a little different angle.
As they get out of the corner, see Andy gets a little wide, and then Hendricks touches him, but he doesn't back off.
Boy, I'll say not. Andy just continues to spin into the tire wall, bang, the rear of the car right up on the guardrail, John. Oh, what a shame. Well, okay, here from Borisset's car, another view of that incident, and we will be back. They're under a yellow in the Corvette Challenge. We're back with the Corvette Challenge from Sears Point, California. It's early in the race. Andy Pilgrim is already out. The car's still on the course. Andy's back along pit row.
I think it may have been Sean Hendricks. Necessary, unnecessary, I don't know. Yeah. It was close racing at that point. I took a wide line. You know, Sean took an inside line. And then, you know, I felt his touch. And I don't really know. It's just very disappointing.
You know, that has to be a general thought for Andy Pilgrim. I think in 1989, John, he's had not great success so far this year. And we're back to a green.
A green flag, a disappointment for Andy Pilgrim, but Peter Lockhart maintains that lead. And it's Lockhart in the flame-colored Sony car from Cooper in the red car, and of course Scott Legacy in that white-blue EDS car. Notice some of the cars dropping their wheels off the racetrack, and that is not the fast way around. These drivers have to discipline themselves to drive precisely and not to use the tires up. Now notice on the edge of the track those white curbs. We call those speed bumps. That's very important as we talk to Peter Lockhart on how to drive around this racetrack.
Well, Peter Lockhart, how do we attack Sears Point? Let's start with corner one.
Well, corner one at Sears is a very fast left-hander going up a hill. It's taken flat out from the start-finish line, and it's a very challenging corner. When you come up to corner two, you are really going very fast. Corner two is a sharp right-hander, and it's blind. As you go up over the top, you crease the speed bumps. As you approach corner three, you're flat out in third gear. You hit the brakes very hard, and as you get into the dip, you go hard left against the speed bumps. From 3 to 3A is a small rise to the right. Corner 4, you're approaching about 80 miles an hour. You brake a little bit earlier than you think you should, and as soon as you're out of the corner, you're shifting into fourth gear. 5 is a sweeping right-hander, taken flat out. You have to stay to the immediate right-hand side of the track. You're approaching 100 miles an hour as you go to the left-hand side of the track, and you come up to the bridge of 6. You find yourself falling down the famous carousel at Sears Point. As you exit 6, you're now flat in fourth gear, and as you go down a straight, you can see corner 7 in the distance. You get into the corner 7 area, you brake and downshift. It's a hard hairpin, one of the two on the track, and corner 7 is taken in second gear. Once you exit 7, you upshift to third and to fourth, and then you have a series of S's, corners 8, 8A. And as you exit 8A, you're on the fastest part of the track. You are flying now as you go down through a sweeper to the left called corner 9, and you approach the braking area for corner 10, a very hard right-hander. At that area, you're doing about 110 miles an hour. It's very important to brake the car in a straight line. As you go through 10 in fourth gear, you use all the track to the left. You accelerate up again to approximately 110, 111 miles an hour, where you again smoothly downshift through fourth, through third, down to second, and very carefully go around corner 11, which leads you onto the front straight. You use all of the road to the left by the pit wall as you exit, and you accelerate up through the gears again past the start-finish line, heading again to corner 1.
Peter Lockhart continues to lead, Jim. That GM Techline display shows actual car data. They're going 115 miles an hour down the straight. That is fast. And the action here is Stu HAYNER, the 1988 Series champion, fighting off Tommy Riggins.
Look at Tommy go.
Tommy Riggins is a NASCAR regular, very accomplished driver, but he's driving the car very loose, and that uses the car up.
Well, I wonder if Tommy isn't trying to entertain some of his old friends with the NASCAR crowd who are also here this weekend, John. And Tom is putting in a nice run here, but cannot get by Stu. Nope, I thought he was going to try again on the inside.
This is the battle for 7th place that Riggins and HAYNER are having as they go down into the hairpin. There goes Tommy Kendall in the young Chevrolet car just ahead of them. And as they go down into the hairpin, there goes Riggins. I think he's going to try and make it. Yes, down the inside.
But on the front straight, heading back for the start-finish line, Canada's Peter Lockhart still leads.
We have a car in the pits, car number 6. Bob Noakes. He's not happy. He's throwing things around. Now, you ask yourself why. He's been driving around the racetrack at over 100 miles an hour in his Corvette, having a great time, and somebody pulled the plug on him. He's upset.
While Bob will be back, and so will we after this. We're back in the 17th lap of the Corvette Challenge at Sears Point, and here are the standings, John.
Peter Lockhart leads from Bill Cooper. In 3rd, Scott Legacy. In 4th, Bobby Carradine. 5th is Sean Hendricks.
Well, I tell you, it looks like peaceful countryside, but there's a war on this track, and the fans love it today, John.
Peter Lockhart leads. The Canadian from Bill Cooper, the Sears Point expert, and Bill Cooper is putting pressure on Lockhart, Jim, like you can't believe. And the question is, will Lockhart crumble?
And look out, Scott Legacy is not that far away either. Oh, look at this. Cooper comes to the inside. Peter must have missed a shift or something here because he is buying a flash, John.
Lockhart tries to take it back. And will he do it as they come out? He's too tight. He's losing speed. Cooper will profit from that. And, of course, Legacy will catch up. Now, you should note here, we are looking at 2 people in front.
They know this track, too.
Peter Lockhart won $50,000 in 1985 driving a Corvette. It was a prize put up by Goodyear. In front of him, Bill Cooper has been an instructor at this racetrack for 14 years. And of course, Scott Legacy, many times SCCA champion, wants to take the lead from these 2.
Cooper dives to the inside of the tightest part of the course here in corner 11. Lockhart lags now by a car length. Legacy comes in almost, 2 abreast here coming out of it, John.
Pay attention there. You see, Lockhart was too tight coming out of the corner. Cooper pulls away. Legacy gains some momentum on Lockhart, and behind them, Bobby Carradine is closing up as well.
And you know, Sean Hendricks is not far away either, but the trio are looking good out front. Cooper has gained the lead, and they all get up in the curbing, John. That's not the best way to do it.
Well, you've got to be careful. Cooper drops 2 wheels off, but it's so hard to lead these races. They have one advantage, these drivers. They have a 3-position computer-adjustable shock absorber system. So some of these drivers are actually changing the shock position as they drive to try and improve the handling. But Cooper looks extremely good there as Legacy 2 wheels off again. And once again, you'll see the gap changing. Lockhart obviously has taken quite a blow to drop by, and you have to ask yourself, is Lockhart going to give up, Jim, or is he going to put the pressure back on? It sure looks like Cooper is pulling out a 1/10 of a second each corner, just pulling away, and then Legacy has got the pressure on Lockhart, and Lockhart must be saying, why did I drop it all away?
Look at this. Legacy, I think, gave Lockhart a tap there almost, and in fact, it was almost Scott who lost it. Peter ignored that totally, John. He motors on.
Let's look at that again. That wasn't a tap, Jim. That was a thump. Bang! I mean, this is on ESPN right before you. And I don't know how Lockhart managed to hang on there, but he did. Jim, the competition is so close. The pressure so intense. The 6-speed Corvette gearbox, which is built in Germany by ZF, is shifted 12 times every lap. Shifting is so important. It can mean the difference between winning and losing, and that's the subject of today's Track Fact.
This Track Fact is brought to you by True Sports, the choice of the Corvette Challenge.
I'm sitting in John Payson's art car. This is the Corvette that Willie Lewis won the Phoenix Oval Corvette Challenge opener. Willie Lewis is a road racer from way back, and he makes changing gears and driving a road race an art form, and here's how he does it. He starts by shifting gears always with his right hand, and in between every shift his hand returns to the steering wheel. If you notice, there is a slight pause in between every shift. As Willie shifts up the gearbox, he simply takes his foot off the gas, grabs another gear. But going down the gearbox from 4th to 3rd to 2nd to 1st is more complicated. In a typical shift, Willie reaches from 4th, moves into neutral, blips the throttle into the lower gear, back to the steering wheel, and while he's braking at deceleration in excess of 1 G. While Willie's doing that braking, he has to move his foot over to catch the gas pedal to bring those revs up. They call it heel and toe. I call it really difficult.
Let's zero in on this fight here by a couple of competitors in our Corvette Challenge that have really been hot this season. Willie Lewis, who won the first round, trying to hold off Tony Piocosta, and Tony is really hassling him here, John.
The red car, Piocosta, much improved. And inside, and he touches. Lewis spins that Payson out car, and away goes Piocosta. What a great job Piocosta is doing. What a disappointment for Willie Lewis. He won at Phoenix, and now he's down in the dirt.
Isn't that a shame? Really 2 races in a row where Willie has had this sort of luck, John. He'll try to fight his way back through the field, I'm sure, but boy, Tony is aggressive today.
As we watch the action, Bill Cooper continues to lead from Lockhart and Legacy. Oh, Legacy up on the speed bumps. Look at this, wide, fabulous car control. He brings it back from the break, a slide for life, but Bobby Carradine gets by. Legacy drops 1.
Bobby Carradine is running 3rd. We're back in Boris Said's car. Here are your top 5. We'll be back with more great race action after this. We're back with the action in the last lap, the 29th of this Corvette Challenge at Sears Point, John, and what a fight out front.
And the fight is for 3rd place between Legacy and Bobby Carradine. Into the corner, and it's Legacy right behind Carradine, trying to take a position that he lost only 2 laps ago.
Well, again, this is Bobby Carradine country. You know he wants to hang on to it. A little bobble out of Legacy there, which won't help him, of course, in this endeavor, but he does hang on to Bobby at this point. He gets a tire right up there on the curbing, too.
He only has a few more corners to go. Carradine is pulling it out on Legacy as they come down the hill and heading for the hairpin. It's Cooper, Lockhart, Carradine in the red car, Legacy in the white car. They're down to the hairpin, side by side, and one way, the other. Legacy back down inside. I think, Jim.
You know, look at this. Bobby seemed to pull away, and Legacy just steamed right on by, John.
We're coming to the flag. Cooper wins, Lockhart 2nd, and it's a surprise. Legacy is 3rd. Bobby Carradine got cheated.
Sean Hendricks, by the way, the other red car, coming across there in 5th, but Bobby, what happened there? Look at this Valley Chev crew, though, John. They're ecstatic today.
Boy, team leader Doug Rippey's got to be proud. Ken Wallace, the car owner, is delighted. Valley Chevrolet have now won every race in 3 races.
The 3rd round of the Corvette Challenge is complete. Here are the top 5, our final standings of today's event, John.
And in the $1 Million Corvette Challenge title hunt, Bill Cooper stretches his lead.
I was just waiting for a little mistake, and I'm afraid Lockhart drove a very good race. He didn't make a mistake. The car did a little burble, didn't pick up some fuel, and I was able to drive by. So Lockhart did a real good race. I think we entertained the folks.
Well, you know, it's Bill Cooper's track, and when he comes to mine, maybe it'll be different. But frankly, it was a good race. I unfortunately missed a shift, got into that famous 6th gear, a gear that we never get to. And once I was there, I didn't know where to go. So it took me a while to find that, and in an instant, Bill was by, and then it was a matter of just trying to conserve until the end.
The car was actually pushing, and I was having to actually pitch the car into the corners to get rid of the push, and the track conditions had changed a little bit. We missed a little bit, but all in all, the car was great. The brakes were terrific. As you could see when I outbroke Bobby, the crew just did a terrific job with those.
I got to hand it to Scott Lagasse today. I thought I had 3rd sewed up. Last corner of the last lap, I went to cut him off, and he found that little extra inch in there, and, I got to hand it to him. He really drove a heck of a race.
Jim, Chevy Thunder plays to a Motown beat. We're taking the Corvette Challenge to the streets of Detroit. We'll see you there.
This ESPN exclusive has been brought to you by Goodyear, because there really is a difference. And Mid-America Design.